Hello, David here, and the project for today is replacing the outdoor floodlight over my garage. You can see the lights do work, but the motion sensor part does not work. That's this thing that's blinking. Kind of gives you the impression that it's working, but it doesn't work. It doesn't shut the lights off. That motion sensor unit is replaceable, but I find they're about $20, and for about the same cost you get a whole new one. So I feel that leaving the electricity on all night with the lights on all night uses a lot of electricity, so I like the motion sensor feature that they only go on when there's people or animals walking around. So what I did is I'm replacing it with this thing. It's a motion security light. I never heard of the company before. It's called Defiant, and I certainly hope it's not as defiant as the old one that I'm replacing, but this one is motion activated, and I got it at Home Depot for $27. I was hoping to get a unit in black, but white was the only color they had. I think it's going to look kind of cheesy. If it works, I might have to paint it with the blue house color to match the house, because I don't like the look of the white light, but I'll replace it, see if it works. This video might be too basic for some of your do-it-yourselfers, so this probably will be more suited to the youngsters, people that are first home buyers just learning to work on their own projects. If you're at all not comfortable working with electricity, don't do it, because you can be severely injured, killed, or start a fire if you do anything improper. First step is to turn the power off so you don't injure yourself. But don't do it here. Keep this switch on so the power stays on to the light. We're going to go over to the circuit breaker and turn the power off over there, and we'll know the power's off because the light will turn off. The reason why you can't trust turning the power off here is you're only turning the power off one line, and there's two lines going in the light, and there may still be power in the fixture if you start working on the fixture by turning off the light switch. We need to cut the power at the circuit panel. We're at the fuse box, also known as the circuit breaker panel. This is where you turn the power off. Right there. Now that we know the power's out, let's take the bulbs out just so that the fixture is lighter in weight. When you buy your new fixture, you're going to have to find out if you have a wall mount or an eaves mount. Some fixtures are only wall mount, and some are only eaves mount, and some will fit both wall or eave mount. This particular fixture is an eave mount. We're going to pop off this screw cover right here, which exposes the screw. Undo that screw. Now that the wiring is exposed, do not be intimidated by all the wiring you see under here. A lot of this extra wiring is for the circuitry of the motion sensor. You see this red wiring here. We're concerned with the 3 wires that come out of the house. This green one is usually the ground. Anytime you have a bare copper wire in a fixture, that is your ground. And then you have white and black. So we're going to take these screw caps off. Okay, there we go. Here's the ground. That's a copper wire going to the green of the unit. There's black. And then here is white. And these are not soldered connections. These are just twisted on friction tight with these wire nuts. Oh! That's in the unit. This is the one I want. This is the twist connection right here coming from the house. There we go. Okay, here's what you get in the box. Get a set of directions. Got a couple of these light shades. Here's the unit. According to the directions, you can go with a wall mount or an eave mount. I've got the eave mount. Also shows you how not to mount it, so I definitely won't be doing that. The unit says this side has to go up. Here's a wiring behind, and it's got these sockets. It's adjustable on how you have these turn. Got to figure out how to. Okay, here's how to move these. So I'm going to have mine like this. I'm going to have to have it face forward like that. Going to be facing out. Let's see. Out like that. Going to face forward. Going to mount on the eave. This side up. Whoops. I just dropped it on the ground. Probably never work. Anyway, it's supposed to go like that. Bulbs face forward like that. But I saved the receipt. So let's identify the wires. White wire, black wire, and usually you match colors. So I'm gonna hook up the white wire to the white wire. These are pre-stripped. This is cut, so I can take off this end and twist it onto the wire. I'm not seeing green. There's a green screw right here, so I'm assuming they want me to hook my wire under this green screw and tighten that. I'll check out the directions. There's also a gasket to go between the unit and the house, and some hardware. I already have this installed in the house, so I don't need that. There's some wire caps, and here's a screw that screws the unit into this crossbar. And here's the shade. The shade screws in a bayonet type of mount. You match up this groove here with that dot in there and twist. That's what they mean by a bayonet mount. It's going to go like that. But first I'm going to read the instructions and check out how they want me to wire this. Okay, I can see already that I'm not going to be able to use this gasket because the hole cut in the plywood of the siding is bigger than this gasket, so it's not going to do any good. Anyway, the instructions recommend getting some silicone caulk, which is not included with the light, and they recommend caulking around the base of the fixture. That would be around this part, all the way around in a circle to seal it. And the instructions also say to make sure that the bulb is at least 1 inch away from the sensor, and I imagine that's because it's sensitive to heat. I also imagine if you're using LED bulbs that don't heat up, you can probably have it right up against it because it's not going to matter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure 1 inch, and then I'm going to lock these nuts down, these collars. I'm going to lock down with these channel locks, and then I'm going to take these reflectors off and start wiring it up. The fine adjustments I'm going to be doing with these little hand knobs on there, which will be adjusting the the up and down positioning of the reflectors. Since the new unit doesn't have a ground wire, it just has a terminal, I am going to steal this green ground wire from the old unit. It's screwed in here. I'm going to unscrew it from here and screw it into the new unit so that I could just easily attach it with the wire caps. Okay, I've got the green wire connected to the ground, and you have to turn it off to the side so it doesn't interfere with the mounting hole, which is right there. If it was to come straight back, it would interfere with the mounting hole. Then I have the white wire, the black wire. Black goes to black and white goes to white when you hook it up to the house. And you have to twist these ends so they don't fray out. So make sure these are twisted. And once I get these hooked up and get a wire cap screwed in for the connection, the connected wires should be able to temporarily hold the weight of the unit without the bulbs inside. See that? Just for a very short time. Try to support it with your hand as long as you can, or have an assistant help you, and then run this screw up to support it in its permanent position. Okay, on the motion sensor, this is the bottom part. It's hidden by this label, but these are the adjustments. There's a test adjustment, a 5-minute on adjustment, a 10-minute on adjustment, and then there's a sensitivity, which they're calling range, but that's a little dial that you turn for minimum and maximum. And the instructions tell you how to set it up, to adjust the range, adjust the sensor for training. This shows that it could sense someone walking around the light in a 180-degree pattern, and that's a person running. I hope that guy could run faster than I could shoot. And there's a manual mode, so you don't have the light sensor, or you don't have the motion sensor rather. Switch the light off at the wall switch for 3 to 4 seconds and then back on. And then to turn the manual mode off, switch the light off at the wall switch for 3 to 4 seconds and then turn it back on. Okay, you can see the wires coming from the house. I'm on my handy ladder here, also known as an upside down pail. I'm going to use the old wire nuts that came with the old unit. So let's hook up the white. I don't know if you have a good angle, but all you have to do is have them lying adjacent to one another, and then screw the cap over it. Whoops. Try that again. I know this thing's going to be broken. Okay, white to white, here's black to black. That'd be a miracle if this thing operates. I dropped the wire nut. Here's the ground, which is either going to be green to green or green to bare copper. And as you can see, it's holding its own weight without me holding it. See if the camera's still on. Yeah, I'll be darned. I don't know how much of that you guys saw with that light in the way. So this is going to be turned that way. I'm going to stuff the wires into the eave. I don't know if you call this a... What happened here? Oh. My ground wire came loose. Maybe I should try to wrap it. Get that tight. There we go. Shove that in. Usually there's an inch or so of room in there so you can shove wires up in there. The ground wire is kind of stiff. Must have just woke up. Come on, baby. Okay. Here's a nut, or the screw rather. I run the screw up here. Make sure all the wires are still connected. You can see how that gasket wouldn't work because the square hole, those two corners are exposed. I wish I had my trusty assistant here to get my screwdriver. Probably gonna fall on my head. Okay. There we go. That's a big space for the caulk to fill, let me tell you. Okay, let's get that up secure. Nice. Not secure. I want the sensor to face forward. There's an adjustment to tighten this sensor. If it's too loose. Just tighten that. Okay, next thing I'm going to put the reflectors on. They fell off when the unit fell. I don't know how this thing is going to withstand the windstorm. Okay, let's install the bulbs. Instructions say that 150 watt is the maximum. Okay. Turn the power on, see what happens. Well, be darned, they're working. Okay, we need to wait for the sun to go down so I could test the motion sensor part. Well, there's a good sign. It turned itself off. See what happens when I move. Oh, it turned on. It sensed my motion. I'm going to play with the adjustment a little bit, get it ready for nighttime. Sun will be going down in about 5 hours. See, the reason why the light turned on when I walked in front of the motion sensor was because the switch was in test mode. That way you could test the sensor in daylight. So I moved the mode to 5 minute, and now it's working the way it's supposed to work. It will not turn on in daylight, but when the sun goes down and senses my motion, then it should turn on. Hey, it's nighttime. Time to check out the motion sensor light. I'm going to walk in front of it and see if it turns on. Yeah, how about that? I just want to set it so it turns on when someone is about 2 car lengths from the garage. So I'm going to set the sensitivity, and I want to thank you for watching.